નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી. સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ 9th, સબ્જેક્ટ સાયન્સ, chapter 14, natural resources. Dear to students, today we will discuss rain. So this one is very easiest one. So you are knowing also. Let us go back now to the question of how clouds are formed and bring us rain. So you know that in the previous lessons or previous classes you learned how clouds are forming. So let us will discuss how what here the idea will be there. We could start by doing the simple experiment is given. So how clouds take an empty bottle of salt out in which bottle water is sold, pour about 5 to 10 ml water into it, close the bottle tightly, shake it well, leave it under the sun for 10 minutes. So this causes the air in the bottle to be saturated with water vapor. So you know that water evaporation of water. So this all the replicates, this all will examples. And then now take the highly incense stick, open in the cap of the bottle, allow some of the smoke. So what will happen in this? So if you come to know that, this all the examples will tell the air smoked seemed foggy when we stopped pressing and crushing the bottle. Okay. So this all the and the third other one experiments will be there. Enter the quickly close the bottle. Make sure that the cap is fitting tightly and press the bottle hard between your hands. And crush as much as possible. Wait for few seconds. So the time taken when we press and crush the bottle, the fog is seen when pressure inside the bottle is now. So this all this above experiment replicates tells us that on a very small scale, what happens when water, when air with a very high content of water vapor grows from the region of high pressure to a region of low pressure of vice versa. So what will happen? You know that when water bodies are heated during a day, see here you look the point now. When water bodies are heated during the day, a large amount of water evaporates. So what will be there? See here is there, here how it is the when did you observe that the air inside the seemed to become foggy? When does this fog disappear? When is the pressure inside the bottle higher? Is the fog observed when the pressure in the bottle is high or when this? What is the need for smoke particles inside the bottle for this experiment? So for this all you have the here explanation, try to understand the explanation. The above experimentation tells us on a very small scale what happens when air with a very high content of water vapor goes from the region of high pressure to the region of the low pressure. When water bodies are heated during the day, a large amount of water evaporates, okay, and goes into the air. Some amount of water vapor goes into the atmosphere because of various biological activities also. Biological activities means you know that for example plants are also go for removing the water. So excess of water through the transpiration. So this is we are calling biological activities. These are also gets heated and rises up and mixed with the atmosphere. The hot air rises up and carrying the water vapor with it. So what will happen? The hot air rises up and carrying the water vapor. And this cooling, as the air rises, it expands and cools. So it spread out and cools. Okay. And this cooling causes the water vapor in the air to condense in the form of tiny droplets. So what will happen? Condensing, decreasing in the volume or becomes compact. Okay. And then it becomes a tiny droplets. This condensation of water is facilitated, make easier to move. Some particles could act on the nucleus. You know that the dust particles for these drops to form around them. This condensation of water is facilitated, easily move. Some particles could act on the as the nucleus, act as a nucleus for these drops to form around. And these drops are what? Placing around there for these drops, and normally dust and other suspended particles in the air pressure perform this situation. So you know that dust particles, like act as a nucleus, and surrounded that water vapor droplets are compacting, and then it becomes a complete nucleus form. So once the water droplets are formed, they are grow bigger. They grow bigger by the condensation. Okay, by the condensation means water vapors are changes into the liquid form of these water droplets. When the drops have grown bigger and heavy, then they fall down in the form of the rain. So then they fall as a rain. Sometimes when the temperature of the air is low enough, precipitation may occur. Precipitation. This precipitation means forms of water particles like snow, rain. So rain, so like snow, sleet, hail. Sleet means what? Frozen raindrops. Hail means the balls of ice. So these are all the precipitation we are getting. May occur in the various, what you are saying, in the various forms of water particles. Rainfall patterns are decided by the prevailing of wind patterns. So this is by the prevailing, increasing the movement, we persuade into to do something of the wind patterns. In large parts of the India, rains are mostly brought by the southwest and northeast monsoons. So in large parts of the India, rains are mostly brought by the southwest or northeast monsoon. We have also heard weather reports that say depressions, low pressure areas in the Bay of Bengal have caused rains and some other areas. Correct or not? So these are all caused by the prevailing wind patterns. Okay. Now we will discuss the air pollution. See, what is air pollution? The increase in the content of harmful substances in the air. The increase in the content of the harmful substances in the air is called as air pollution. So you keep hearing the increasing the level of oxides of nitrogen and sulfur in the news. People often, that increasing level of the oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. How it happens? People often bemoan or complaining the fact that bemoan, complain to the fact that the quality of the air has gone down since their childhood. Nowadays, the air quality has become down. How is the quality of the air affected, and how does this change in the quality of affect us and other life forms? So this all we will discuss here. So how it is means, that the fossil fuels like coal and petroleum we are using, So when this all contains some of nitrogenous and contains the small amounts of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burned, it produces oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. Okay. So this on mixing with the rain, so then forms an acid or acid rain we are saying. See here, when these fuels are burnt, the fossil fuels like coal and petroleum contain small amounts of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burnt, nitrogen and sulfur, two are burnt. This produces different oxides of nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide. This one is not only the inhalation of these gases dangerous. Inhalation means taking inside. And they also dissolve in the rain to give rise to the acid rain. Okay, so like this way, you know that what are the harmful effects of acid rain last year in the classes you learnt. Okay. The combustion of the fossil fuels also increases the amount of suspended particles in the air. See, the combustion of these fossil fuels increases the amount of suspended particles in there. These suspended particles could be unburnt carbon particles. So substances called as hydrocarbons. Okay. So this air pollution, what the problem will be there in the air pollution? What the problem? See, air pollutions, causes of air pollutions will be, say, like this: by burning of fossil fuels, agricultural activities. In the agricultural activities, what is there? Ammonia is the usually very common byproducts from the agriculture. They are using the insecticides, pesticides, fertilizers. This all contains ammonia, and this will affect to this. And exhaust from the factories and industries, mining operations. You know that mining, there also dust and chemicals are discharged to the atmosphere. Indoor air pollution, house cleaning. Indoor air pollution means house cleaning products, painting. These are all supplies or emitting toxic chemicals into the air. So in this way, air is getting polluted. Okay. See, the combustion of fossil also increase the amount of suspended particles. These suspended particles could be unburnt carbon particles or substances called as hydrocarbons. Presence of the high levels of all these pollutants cause visibility to be lowered. So what the problem will be there? The visibility will be reducing to be lowered, especially in the cold weather. So that is why the accident happens with the what in the visibility area, smoggy we are saying. See, visibility will be reduced, especially in the cold weather when water also condenses out of air. So this is called as smog. Means here is a visible indication of the air pollution. See, smog means what? Okay, burning fossil fuels release unburnt carbon particles, which reduces the visibility over the cold weather along with the condensed water. Along with the condensed water, it forms as a smog. It forms as a smog. So this reduces the visibility problems. So this we are calling smog, you are saying. Okay. And studies have shown that regularly breathing air that contains of this substance increases the what will happen. So due to this, allergies, cancer, and heart disease. So these are the problems are arising due to the impure air. So allergies will be there, cancer and heart disease problems are raising. So an increase in the content of these harmful substances in the air is called air pollution. This already we have discussed. Okay, yes students. So this we have completed, and we will discuss remaining things in the next topics. Okay, till that, bye bye. Thank you for joining us.